Here we go. Okay. Hi, everybody. It is time to get started. Thank you for taking the time to join us for our webinar, Building an Effective Technology Team that Supports Teachers, hosted by Dyknow. Before we get started and dive into the webinar, for those who aren't familiar with Dyknow, we are a classroom management software that helps teachers defeat device distractions and keep students on tasks in digital learning environments. As an edtech partner to thousands of educators across the country, we have the resources and expertise to help guide your student device programs in the right direction, which is why we partner with education and technologists all over the country to share what they're doing and what works well to contribute to success. So here's what to expect during today's webinar. It is being recorded and will be made available to all post-event via email and will also be available on the blog on our site. Feel free to share this with anyone who would benefit from the content today, as well as on social media. And then lastly, we are taking questions at the end. We'll see how many we can take because we want to be considerate of everyone's time. But you can submit questions by exiting the full screen mode, selecting questions on the bottom bar of your webinar screen, and kind of chat those in. We'll address those at the end. Okay, so we're your webinar panelists today. I'm Rachel Green and work as the Demand Generation Manager in the Marketing Department at Dyknow. My goal is to highlight the educator's voice to ensure the right message gets in front of the right audience, to inspire and encourage action, helping educators like you make informed decisions on how to optimize student device programs in your districts, schools, and classrooms. Today we have Devin, the Director of Technology, joining us from Tippecanoe School Corporation. Thank you for taking the time, Devin, to join us and be featured on today's webinar.
Hey, Rachel, thanks for the invite. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Okay. So what you guys can expect to get out of today's webinar, 3 bullet points here: how to build and structure a district technology team, how to collaborate with and receive buy-in from everyone under the sun, your bosses and your teachers and your support staff, and then ways your technology team can support teachers, because now tech and teachers have to work together with these digital environments in the classroom. So you're going to get these key takeaways from Devin's lens and experience as a technology director. So we'll go ahead and get started with the interview portion of the webinar. So first question is, Devin, can you tell us a little bit about your school district in the technology environment?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So as Rachel shared, I lead up technology efforts here at the Tippecanoe School Corporation. We are a public school district in the greater Lafayette, Indiana area. So Tippecanoe County is the county in which we reside, and we are kind of known as the county school system. So there are 2 other city school districts here in the county, and then we surround the both of those kind of like a large donut. So because of that, we're large geographically, so about 430 square miles from one end of the county to the other. We have 13,600 students approximately, about 1,200 employees, 800 or so of those are teachers and administrators, across 19 school facilities, 23 buildings in total. So we have 2 high schools, 6 middle schools, and then 11 elementaries that we support. As far as our technology environment goes, we are 1-to-1 in grades 3 through 12. So we made the transition to the Google ecosystem several years ago. So we do have Chromebooks deployed in those grade levels. And then in our primary grades, we currently have Apple iPads deployed. We have a set of 10 iPads in each of our kindergarten, 1st, and 2nd grade classrooms. Other than that, we are a Cisco shop from a wireless infrastructure standpoint. All of our teachers and employees are still, using Windows devices. We have Epson projectors in all of our classrooms. So from a hardware perspective, we're in pretty good shape.
Wonderful. And for those of you who don't know, fun fact, Dyknow is in Indiana, so we love our Indiana districts here. like Tippecanoe. So happy to have Devin representing the state. We're going to go to the next question. So Devin, this is like the key point of kind of what we're talking about today and what brought everyone here. What is the makeup of your technology team, and can you speak to how and why it is structured the way it is?
Sure. Well, I'll preface this by saying that, what works well for us here at Tippecanoe schools may not work well for everybody. So I certainly haven't, solved the puzzle or anything like that, but what we're doing here works well for us, and I'm sure there are different models out there. So with that being said, I know that we're probably like most K-12 technology teams in that we wish we had more people, right? So, 13,600 students, we've got, over 10,000 devices out there. And then we have a team of 23 people, myself included, who are tasked with supporting all of that. So we had to be pretty strategic in terms of how we kind of allocate the limited resources that we have, both from a human standpoint and then also a fiscal standpoint. So we have 4 different teams that kind of make up our technology department. We have a what we call our connected learning team. So that would be, our e-learning group, or, who help teachers with technology integration and support. So we have 3 individuals on that team who go out and do trainings and, professional development and work with teachers one-on-one. And really support that side of the house. Then we also have a network and infrastructure team who makes sure that our network is up and safe and secure and robust. We have a data and systems team who manage our student information system and other kind of locally supported and managed platforms that we have here at our district. And then finally, we have our technical support team, and this group is comprised of what we call our building technicians or our technical specialists. So they're really the boots on the ground. Those are the folks that are positioned out in the schools and deal with that, kind of tier 1 technical support, re-imaging desktops, helping out when equipment's not working properly, doing break fix work, those sorts of things.
Awesome. And I'm going to go back because I know I kind of jumped around on that. So 4 tech teams, 23 people, thousands of devices, thousands of students you guys are supporting. And that was very humbling what you mentioned at the end. Yes, this model may not work for everyone, but we were very strategic in selecting you guys because you have had tremendous success and are, I would say, a larger district in the state. And we admire how you guys have broken this up to accomplish goals on each team to serve the teachers and have that kind of serving teacher mindset. So again, 4 departments here. I don't know if you want to talk about these in more detail or if you want to go to the next question, or if you felt like you covered it enough on these detailed slides.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the positive feedback there. We like to think that we do a good job of what we're tasked with doing, but we certainly recognize there's always room for improvement. But when we approach deploying technology and supporting technology, we try to keep the end user in mind, specifically the teacher and the student. So we try to be focused on, how is this going to make an impact in the classroom? What are the challenges or the obstacles that our teachers or students are going to face if there are problems or if it doesn't go smoothly? And we try to be proactive and think about all the what ifs that might happen and hopefully address those things earlier rather than later. So.
Yeah, that's a good segue into my next question. So just so everyone knows, we will share, again, the recording and these slides on our blog. So if you do want to see these in more detail, you will be able to later if you're looking to kind of restructure or optimize your tech team and how you guys work together. So the next question is, how does your department collaborate with other departments and schools on technology decisions?
Sure. So, we're always trying to fight that kind of siloed approach that so often happens in K-12 where, the IT or the technology department makes decisions on its own, and then the curriculum department makes decisions and the schools make decisions. So we even though we're a large district, we try to break down those walls as much as we can and try to have that cross-department collaboration and communication so that everybody's on the same page and everybody knows why decisions are made and what the end goal is, and those sorts of things. So as far as the communication approach that we take, we've recognized that, email, as great as it is, sometimes is not the most impactful communication medium, especially in schools today. Seems like everybody's drowning in email, and we never have a chance to get caught up. And so we really try to minimize the amount of emails that we send out to our staff. So rather than sending out emails every week about this topic or that topic, we try to consolidate those into a few larger email messages that go out, a few times throughout the school year. I don't know if that's more effective or not, but it's definitely our attempt to kind of streamline and condense the communications that go out to staff. We've also tried, video communication, audio communication, really trying to just differentiate to folks and get them to read our kind of read or intake the information that we're sending out. Communicating with other departments. I sit at the district level on the team, the curriculum team, so the assistant superintendents of curriculum, student services director, special education director. So I meet with those folks weekly, and I'm able to kind of hear what's going on from the curriculum instruction side of the house, and then I can obviously interject and share things that we could offer, or that how we could complement those initiatives, and then vice versa. If they find out, hey, we're planning to roll out this product or do this training, then they can weigh in and share how that might dovetail into some of the curriculum efforts that are going on. As far as that getting communication back from our stakeholders, we do utilize Bright Bites survey, so there's a plug for them. So we administer the Bright Bites survey to our staff, students, and parents once a year. I know other districts out there may utilize it more than once a year, but we found that that's a good kind of frequency for us. And so this was our second year using that survey tool, and basically it just asks the respective stakeholders, their views of educational technology, how it's an asset, how it's a challenge, how we can improve upon things, and that really gives us, we feel, some actionable data that we can then use to design, professional development plans, support programs, and things of that nature. We do have a social media presence. So obviously the school district has, its social channels through Facebook and Twitter, but then our technology department also has its own social media accounts. And we use those really just to highlight the things that are going on in our classrooms that showcase technology. So, we really try to connect with all of our teachers on Twitter. So periodically we'll send out kind of a Google form to ask folks to tell us what their Twitter handles are so that we can make sure we're following all of our staff. And then we encourage them to, tweet out when they're doing something really outstanding in the classroom with technology. And then we'll retweet that, and it's kind of neat to see how that cross-pollination happens. Then we're able to connect teachers with other teachers in our district and even outside of our district. So social media has definitely been a nice promotional and kind of collaborative piece for us.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear. Our team was fortunate enough to go to the COSIN National Show back at the beginning of April. And then I believe you saw Mark at the Indiana CTO Clinic late last week. And a big topic about COSIN, obviously, of data security and the homework gap, which are huge. But then kind of right after that, on that priority list, is incorporating teacher feedback and connecting the teachers with the tech department and kind of breaking down those silos. So everything you said here, from the Bright Bite surveys to using social media and communicating on getting buy-in and then also receiving buy-in, are all good tips people can take away to apply at their school, to know that everyone's in this together to kind of accomplish the same goal with student devices in schools.
Yeah. And I think buy-in, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's almost like one of those ongoing goals. And I think it relates closely to just building trust with your teachers because, um, especially when it comes to technology, a lot of folks kind of just have initiative fatigue where, oh my goodness, what are we rolling out this year? What's new this year? And I think that, by kind of keeping those lines of communication open and having a presence, not only digitally, but also actually going out and being in the schools and kind of working directly with teachers, it helps establish that trust and rapport, and then hopefully helps make that buy-in process a little bit easier when there are new initiatives or new products and projects that are rolled out.
Absolutely. And that's a perfect segue into our next question on how does your technology team support your teachers on a daily basis? Would you mind kind of sharing some of those examples?
Sure. So, as I mentioned, the e-learning and professional development side of the house, I guess, or the part of the district kind of falls in my department. So I know that that's different. A lot of districts, e-learning falls in the curriculum and instruction department, but here at our district, it falls under technology. So I'm fortunate to kind of have a connected learning manager, and she is our point person for all things technology integration and e-learning. And then she has a couple folks who work closely with her. And, using that Bright Bites survey data and then also taking into consideration just new things that are coming up for us, whether it's the adoption of a new product or a new program or a new piece of hardware, we try to take all of that information and develop what we think is, kind of um, useful and relevant professional development for our teachers. So we're fortunate that our teachers built into their contract time, we have about a half an hour of staff development time before school every day. So the teachers report about 45 minutes before the students do. And then there's a half an hour built in there in the mornings where, they have a variety of activities throughout the school year. So what we do is at the beginning of each semester, we will kind of send out to our building principals our list of topics, and then also different options as that they might choose from as well. And we ask for them to schedule us to be in their buildings 3 to 4 times a semester during that morning professional development time. So we recognize that kind of whole group sit and get PD isn't always the most effective medium. However, we also feel that by getting out to each of our buildings, those set times each semester, we're at least kind of giving all of our teachers a base level or, a baseline of kind of information as far as what's going on from the e-learning side of things. And so from there, principals can then request that we come out, more than just those times. They can request different topics if they have more different interests from their staff, and we're always willing to accommodate that. So that's kind of what we do more on the routine side of things throughout the school year. We also provide kind of in-house summer professional development. So we call it our summer PD series. So we've got about 6 to 8 topics that we will offer 2-hour sessions throughout the summer. So we have 3 blocks going June, early July, late July, that our teachers can sign up and attend here at our technology center. So this allows us to go a little more in depth than we would be able to during those half-hour morning sessions, and allows us really just to kind of provide staff with a deeper knowledge of things in preparation for the next school year. We also take advantage of the Indiana Department of Education Summer of E-Learning Grant. So we partner with another local school district and host a summer e-learning conference. So I think this will be the 4th or 5th year that we've done that. And we have about 1,000 teachers from across the region who attend this event. It's a 2-day conference that happens at an intermediate school in the neighboring school district. And it's also a really cool event because we're able to get some kind of national level speakers to come and presenters. And it really kind of just gets folks excited about what's going on with educational technology. Resources. So we we subscribe to the kind of the one-stop shop model, and that we try to put as much as we can out on our technology department website. We have an edtech PD sort of page on our technology department's website where anytime we go out to do a training or present on a topic, we always put associated resources about that out on our website so that we can just steer people to a common location. So I know nowadays with, Google Drive and other storage mediums, sometimes people can't remember where they kept the resource or where they saw something. And so it's useful for us to be able to say, oh, it's on our website. It's on our website. On-site visits. So I mentioned that we're out in the buildings quite a bit before during that professional development time each day. But those 3 members of our Connected Learning team, they also use a freemium. I think there's a paid version, but it's called Book Me Now, or You Can Book Me, one of those two. But basically it's like any other kind of online scheduler that integrates with your calendar. So they have their links in their email signatures, and then we send them out frequently to staff and have them on our website. And basically staff can go on and click one of their names and see what their availability is, and then reserve a half an hour time slot with them. And then we'll go out to the buildings and meet with an individual teacher or a team of teachers, really about any topic that they want. So that's kind of our way of providing that on-demand support that might be more appropriate for certain topics compared to, a large whole group PD session. And then finally, of course, we respond to emails and help tickets as well. We have a kind of a single email address that's routed to all 3 members of our Connected Learning team. So our staff know that if they send an email to, Connected Learning at tse.k12, that it will go to everybody on the Connected Learning team, and typically at least one person will respond in a very timely manner. We also have a help ticket system. We encourage folks to use that more for technical issues where that their building technician might need to come in and fix. So we've learned that when it comes to, that e-learning and technology integration support, putting in a help ticket and waiting 24 to 48 hours to get an answer isn't always effective. Oftentimes, teachers will be in the middle of let's say administering an online assessment using our learning management system, and something isn't showing up correctly and they have a classroom full of students waiting to take the quiz. We want them to be able to shoot us a quick email so that we can respond right away to try to help them through that situation. And we just don't always feel that a help ticket is the most useful way to do that. So
yeah, all of those are great ideas to support teachers. It's kind of funny. It sounds similar to, I work with technology a lot in marketing. And if it's something that's super technical, that's a bug, I will submit help tickets on those platforms. But then if it's something that's affecting, like I'm having a webinar today, and if I wasn't able to get your sound on and we have people depending on it, that's something where I would contact our rep and get their help on. So similar model I can relate to in the business world, I guess. But I guess the key here too with supporting teachers is follow through. I think there are a lot of times whenever teachers, they try something and then it doesn't work and they get discouraged and they don't want to try it again, or they ask for help and there wasn't any follow through on that ticket, or it wasn't the appropriate communication channel for that specific issue. So that's great that you guys kind of have all these different systems, in person, email, and tickets, and help those teachers understand which avenues are appropriate for which issue or what questions arrive.
Yep. We believe that, the best medium out there is the teacher. They're far more important than any piece of technology. And so it's critical for us that they feel supported and that they know that we're there to help make their lives easier.
Wonderful. So we're going to segue a little bit to Dyknow here. So speaking of supporting teachers, one of the external resources that your school adopted is Dyknow, and your school became a Dyknow customer, I believe, around 2014 on our old product, and then transferred to what we know Dyknow to be today around 2016. And you guys have used it in a couple of high schools and are now expanding it to the entire district. So just out of curiosity, what was it like prior to having Dyknow, I guess, in the schools that don't have it? And then how has Dyknow helped this year thus far with your high schools, and why are you guys expanding with our software?
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to speak to that. I actually have a pretty long history with Dyknow. I don't think I shared this with you previously, Rachel, but I am a former classroom teacher, and I received a set of Windows laptops back in 2009 or 10, I believe,
Wow.
as part of a grant program when I was teaching fifth grade. And I actually was able to use probably a much older version of Dyknow in my classroom with my set of laptops for all my students. So that was kind of my first exposure to the product, and obviously it's evolved and is much different now. But yeah, as you shared, we've used it for the past 5 or 6 years at our high school level. We expanded our one-to-one program to our middle schools about 3 years ago, and didn't initially roll out Dyknow. We kind of just wanted to see how it went, and work with our teachers to kind of get feedback about how the technology was being used in their classroom and what sort of challenges they were coming up against. And in that time, we've gathered a lot of information and made the decision to expand Dyknow to those schools for the upcoming school year. I think a lot of times when people first hear about Dyknow, they classify it as, oh, that's one of another nanny software, or it's just something where teachers can kind of sit at their computer and watch all of their students' screens. While you definitely can do that, we like to think of it as much more than just a monitoring solution. So we think it's critical to helping our teachers keep kids not only on task with technology, but also engaged. So in addition to just being able to monitor their screens, there's a whole other suite of tools that allow teachers to ask questions and put out polls and check for understanding, and send students to specific resources or websites. And so we really feel like it can be this kind of holistic tool that really helps teachers harness the power of having all of those devices in the classroom, while also recognizing that when you've got 30 7th grade students with their own device, there's going to be opportunities for off-task behavior, and Dyknow can kind of help everybody stay accountable. So
Thank you. And yeah, thank you for speaking to that through your lens and, where you sit in your district. And for the teachers, we struggle with that narrative sometimes whenever people do find out about what we do. Oh, it's spy software and teachers are going to police, and we're so much more than that. So you put it beautifully. And that leads me to questions. If anyone had one, I think a chat did go off earlier, but
it looks like there's a question here about the 30-minute structure at the buildings where we send topics to our principals. So as I mentioned, at our elementary and middle schools, they have a 30-minute block before school each and every day that is dedicated to staff development. So you got to think there's 180 of those half-hour blocks then throughout the school year. And a lot of those are used for grade level collaboration or team collaboration. The principals obviously have top building level topics. There are other mandates and things that come down from the district level that consume that time. But what we do from our connected learning team, technology department side of things, we will develop a kind of a menu of topics that we would like to come out and talk to staff about, and we'll send those to principals prior to the start of the semester and say, hey, here are 4 topics we'd like to come talk to your staff about this semester. Can you please, and we'll share out a Google Calendar with like time slots, and we'll say, please book us to come out 4 times, spaced out evenly if you can, throughout the semester. So that way, we're not going out 4 days in a row in September. Ideally, we'd go out in September and October and November and December so that it's kind of staged and sequenced better. And then we go out and we'll present on a topic. We'll share additional resources. We'll give them ideas and strategies, and then we will, in best case scenario, then the principals will give the staff the following day to work in teams or departments to kind of discuss and apply or talk about applying what was shared the day prior, so that they kind of have some time to get their heads wrapped around it. And then obviously we'll come back out and work with folks individually or in small groups as needed if they need a refresher or if they want to go a little bit deeper into the topic. So at the elementary, sometimes we'll split the grade levels. So sometimes we'll split K1, 2, and they'll go with one member of our team, and 3, 4, 5 will go with another member of our team, especially if we're doing something specific to like iPads for the primary grades. And then we'll do something more Chromebook related for the intermediate grades. At the high school level, they're slightly different because they don't have that half-hour block before school every day. They have 1 hour after school on Mondays. So because of their early start time and other logistical things going on at the high school level, that was negotiated a little bit differently there. So we don't get to the high schools as much. We typically go there 2 to 3 times a semester. However, we get a little bit longer time with them when we go, since they have that hour block. And then sometimes we'll split. It usually takes the 3 members of the Connected Learning team and myself. So there will be a team of 4 of us that go out for those days, and we'll split the high school staff of 150 teachers into 4 groups. Sometimes we split them by department. Other times we split them just randomly for whatever topic we're going to present on those dates.
That's awesome. That's a good structure. I am having technical trouble on my side seeing questions. So Devin, it looks like you could see them. Do you see any others that have come in, or was that our solid question for the webinar?
No, that was the only question that I've seen so far.
Got it. Okay. Well, everyone, we want to be respectful of your time. It's been about half an hour, just last couple of CTAs here. Here we go. If you are interested, we have one more. Let's see if we can get to it.
That was just a thank you. No, my pleasure.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Christy. Great question. Okay. So 2 things. One, if you want to hear more content like this from tech directors like you or instructional technologists and even teacher feedback, please visit the Dyknow blog. Every piece of content we're putting out is inspired from educators like you and using their words and kind of pushing that out to different audiences based on what you guys care about. So if you guys have preferences on what you want to learn more about, let us know, because we'll go seek that out with the thousands of educators we work with and have future webinar topics on that or blog posts. And then lastly, if your school hasn't been able to use Dyknow before, we are offering a free trial. I know the end of the school year is kind of approaching here, so it's a little tough with timing, but if you can get it in, we'd love to set it up. It's really easy. If not, then beginning of next school year, happy to still talk with you and discuss how that can benefit you guys in your tech environment. And that is all. So thank you everyone for coming today. Devin, again, thank you so much. This was really helpful and informational and informative to all of us here today.
Yeah, this was great. Thanks for the invite, Rachel. And if anybody has any follow-ups, feel free to connect with me on Twitter or shoot me an email. So.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye, Devin. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.